Ba-dum-bum.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to episode 30 of the Quality Time with Nick and Erin podcast.
30. That's great.
As in how old I was many years ago. I remember those days. Very well.
How old I'll be next year.
Yeah, you're about to be old. Mm-hmm. Dude, being 30 was weird. I remember my birthday thinking like, oh, God, I got to have my life together. Now I'm like, way closer to 40 and I still don't have my life together, but I am a little happier than I was when I was 30 on my birthday. We were watching Bo Burnham's special.
Yeah.
Great special, guys. If you have not seen Bo Burnham's new special called Inside on Netflix, it's a vibe. I don't know that it's like a good vibe. It
has some banger songs on it.
Oh, definitely. Sure. Some of those songs were bangers. It puts you in a mood. I don't know that the mood is let's get lit. I'm pretty sure that's what he said in one of his songs is like, I feel like shit. I don't want to get lit. Something like that. I forget what the lyric was, but maybe, his whole, it was pretty depressing.
Yeah.
He was very depressed. But I thought Bo Burnham was still younger. I was thinking he was like 25. And then he had that scene in there where he's like,
30th birthday.
I'm about to turn 30. And it turned midnight on his birthday. And he's sitting alone in a dark room just watching the clock change. And then it's just like, I guess I'm just going to enjoy my last days of my 20s.
Yep.
I literally was doing that on my 30th birthday.
Oh, damn.
I remember exactly where I was in my Atlanta apartment, a little tiny apartment. Mm-hmm. On the outskirts of the city, just sitting there with a pizza by myself.
I mean, you got a pizza.
No,
so
it was great. I treated myself. It was just a year where I was like, I don't know. I wasn't in a bad place, but I was broke.
Yeah.
And I was kind of away from all my friends. And I had just gone through that whole period in like Kennesaw where like we were partying all the time. We were going crazy. And then like my sister died. And then I shouldn't say that on this podcast because people are going to dig that up and be like, your sister died. Whatever. It was just,
if you do that.
It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit what these people do. But it was just like, it was all this stuff that was like going on in my life for like years, like partying every day, all the college life, all the craziness.
Oh, yeah, and then I bet just stopping.
And then it just kind of like, so we kind of moved away and it wasn't that far. It was like 30 miles or something, 20 miles south. But it's like, we were in the city then. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, all our friends, you might as well be in another state at that point because it's like all your friends are like, I'm not driving down to Atlanta. I can't drive. And then, but it turned out to whatever. I just remember on my birthday, I was just like, man, I was just sitting there. I didn't want to do anything. I was really in the game making mode because when I was making apps.
Yeah.
So I was programming a lot and really trying to get the business going. And I was just like so broke all the time and just kind of just so depressed, or not even depressed, but just like, I don't like, now I'm old, now I'm an adult. Like there was just that realization of like, this is it now. This is what the life is. Mm-hmm. And then
especially when we grow up, we see our parents and like how young they kind of were, and
so crazy
had their shit together. So we thought,
they hit it well, but also they grew up in a time where like, hey, I graduated high school. I bought a house for $20,000.
Yeah.
It's a 6-bedroom, 3-story, 4-car garage. It's just a little quaint fixer-upper. It was totally different then. But,
for sure.
But I remember sitting there like, when is it going to click for me? When is all this like... And I hadn't had any real success on the games yet, but I was getting better at it, getting better at pro, and I felt good about that. And then I just remember I was sitting there on my 30th birthday like... man, I can't wait until I'm not broke anymore. Like that was kind of the whole vibe of my night was just, I don't want to be broke anymore. Mm-hmm. And literally the game I was making that night or that I was working on during that week.
Yeah.
As soon as I launched it, that was my biggest successful game. And
damn.
Launched me up.
Hell yeah.
Launched me into the world to where I could not work for the next 7 years, I guess. So.
Yeah. That awesome.
Worked out. And then we moved to Florida, and then it was like a whole new fun time.
So you
living
had
on
your
the beach.
31st in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like my
okay.
30th was very just kind of chill.
Yeah.
Lonely, sitting in the dark, just kind of, and it wasn't like I was lonely because I didn't have friends. It was like I was too broke to do anything. I didn't want to make a big deal out of my birthday. It's like turning 30 is such a weird vibe when you're like, you just have these visions of like, my 30th birthday is going to be some monumental milestone. And then you're just sitting there. I was sitting there like Bo Burnham, just like, well, I guess I'm just going to sit here and enjoy my 20s for the last minute and then get back to work.
Yeah.
And then the clock changes and he just gets right back to it.
Yeah.
That was kind of my vibe. And then that game kind of took off, and then, all the rest is history. Moved down to Florida. We had a great time down there, living on the beach, living with the girls, partying, meeting you. If I hadn't have
the best part.
If I hadn't have stayed in that night, I might not have met you, and then I wouldn't have this responsibility on the way. Our little alien that's kicking now.
I know.
He's like that. It's like that scene in Alien where it's like you see it moving inside the stomach. Like,
That'll
what
be
is
the
that?
birth.
Yeah, I know. It is getting crazy. You start seeing, she like pushes on her stomach and he'll like kick back.
Yeah.
Push back and you like see it.
We play the little game. He kicks, I poke, he kicks.
Oh, she'll be like, feel this. And I'm like, what am I feeling? She's like, do you feel that? I'm like, no, it just feels like you're like, you have it, your intestines are moving, or like you have like, like when you have like a stomach, I don't know, like, and you can kind of feel that. That's, I'm like, it just feels like you're like breathing or something. And you're like, no, that's the baby. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. You can feel it's like subtle, but you feel it. And you're like,
some
wow.
of them, he's getting stronger now too. So
Good.
it's, you can see.
As he should.
I know. You can see my belly now like vibrate when he kicks it.
Yeah,
I just showed
saw
you that
today.
Yeah. This is the first time I've been noticing it too.
Yeah.
And I just turned 26 weeks.
I know. She had to be corrected. I like how my sisters know more about your pregnancy than you do.
Well, because she's 4 weeks behind me. So she was like, you didn't do your math.
Well, Erin, if there's one thing she's great
Pregnancy
at,
brain.
it's math and
spelling.
English.
I'm really good
and
at math.
Spelling.
But spelling.
And history.
I'm good at history.
Common sense.
I am great at common sense. You need to shut up.
And
I guess you're saying all these things I'm great at. So
yeah, totally not. She's really great at sensing sarcasm and irony and all those words we said on last week's episode.
I have common sense way more than you have.
And semantics, supposedly. So funny. Speaking of little alien, there's fucking UFOs, guys. Sorry, Mom. But I think the word fuck is appropriate at a time like this. We are being invaded by alien civilizations in UFOs, but they're not called UFOs anymore because that would sound crazy. So they call them something completely different. UAPs. This is just like when they're like, don't say retarded, say mentally challenged. Don't say mentally challenged, say neurodivergent. It's like, that means the same thing. Yeah, but we can't say that other word.
I like the word, though, neurodivergent. I think that's pretty cool.
Until that becomes...
Well, I just like how it sounds.
Sure.
I think it's cool.
But it is, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, how is it any different than like, any of these? It means the same thing. It means your brain is abnormal. Whatever. It's cool. It'll change though. It'll all come around. Just like how
that's the one I'm gonna keep.
Just like how in the 60s they said colored people to not be racist, and then that became super racist. Don't say colored people, and now they say people of color, and it's like, oh, that's the proper term. And it's like, you just came full circle. You're one step away from colored people again.
Yeah. I don't know if you were watching it.
We just got canceled for how many times I said colored people. But if I said people of color, POCs, they call them POCs. I'm like, this sounds so like, how does this not strike you as sounding just as racist as any of these terms people used to describe black people in the past?
Yeah, I know.
We're POCs. We're POCs. It's like, oh yeah, you're people of color. What color? What color are you? Are you purple? What are you?
One of the team moms, she came out with some statement or made some tweet or whatever. And it had said something about like, oh, colored people, blah, blah, blah. But she meant it in a good way. She was like she was apologizing for something or saying something, and it was actually really good.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Intention doesn't matter.
She missed a word. It should have been people of color, not colored people. And she was like, oh, sorry, I think she's from like Alabama or something like that. She was like, she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I just don't know these things. And I've just always heard people say that.
Don't say
blah, blah,
mentally challenged. Say people with a challenge of the mind. That's the nice way to say it. Don't say fat people. Say people of fatness. Somebody on TikTok literally was like, guys, stop saying you are fat. You are not fat. You have fat. Just like you are not your fingernails, you have fingernails. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that really resonates with me. I guess words do matter. So from now on, whenever I see a fat girl, I don't call her fat. I don't say you are fat. I just say, wow, you have a lot of fat.
God.
That's much better. She's totally fine when I say it that way. Sure. It's so dumb, these word games people play. Look, I know you shouldn't go around calling people fat, and I don't either, unless her name is Lizzo. Other than that, and I know I shouldn't do that. I mean, she's already got enough on her plate.
Oh my God.
Classic. I've been writing jokes again because I'm gonna do stand up again.
Yeah.
And I've been working on, guys. In case you haven't noticed, I haven't been streaming as much lately, and you're probably wondering where I am on TikTok. Got banned again. Not the time I talked about last week. Started a new account. Got banned on that in 1 week.
Yeah.
50,000 followers in 1 week. Banned in 1 week. It's a new speed run. I'm gonna start. That's 6 accounts now. We still got the dad account, but we're banned from posting on there.
Have you looked at it?
No, I don't even care about TikTok anymore. I know I'm going to keep getting banned because unless I switch up the content drastically, and let's face it, am I going to do that? Nah, probably not. I'll do another ban speed run, but I want to focus on other things. Yeah. TikTok was always just a fun thing and a means to build an audience, and I built an audience, and I'll still use that audience. I obviously have to move them to other platforms, but that's what I got to do. I got to focus on my YouTube. I got to focus on podcasts. We've been neglecting this. I'm trying to get all these other things I'm working on, but I've been writing about it's all about what you apply yourself to, guys. Like there's so many things that I'm like interested in and I'm good at when I apply myself, like programming, game design, like all those things, but I have to focus on that. And when I focus on that, I get tunnel vision into that way of thinking that then I lose all my other ways of thinking. And so lately I've been trying to get back into YouTube, and I'm like, I don't just want to I was doing live streams and I was cutting it up and just like doing hot takes and rants. And I like that, but also I want to do something much more thoughtful and well written. So I started I want to write something out. And so I started writing a bunch this week.
Yeah.
And then it just got all the juices flowing of that. And then I was like, dude, this is like a funny stand-up set. I kind of want to do this for stand-up. And I don't know, maybe I'll put it on YouTube. Maybe I'll use it for stand-up. Maybe I'll do both.
Yeah.
But my juices are flowing as far as writing. And I can't do that if I'm thinking about TikTok. TikTok gets you on such a wavelength where I'm browsing TikToks all day, and I'm getting into like the culture of TikTok and all the memes and all the drama and all that you lose you need sustained focus to sit down and write and like research things and think things out and go outside and just walk around and think and brainstorm and write down your thoughts and and I used to do that all the time. But it just takes time and focus, and I can't do everything all day.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I got banned again from TikTok. I'll stay banned for a little bit. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I can come back fucking next month or next week or whatever.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm just going to focus on getting my thoughts out and try to focus my joke telling on a different medium. And then when I get my YouTube or whatever it is that I decide I'm going to really focus on, then I'll start the TikTok and just drive it to that. But I'm going to get banned again from TikTok. No fucking doubt. Anyways, where was I going with that? Was some girl on TikTok was like, no, I did say that. Where was I going before that? About, see, Erin's no good at this either. She gets me going on things, and then she's got her pregnancy brain, and then she's the only one I can count on to keep me on track. I know more or less. I was trying to get back to aliens, but we were talking about.
I know, we took a really big
We were
tangent.
talking about like the fat girl on TikTok who's like, "Don't say you have fat or you are fat. Say you have fat."
I said that. I know you were talking about what you're going to be doing with YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
And you were gonna.
Maybe that was all I was saying. I don't know. I'll watch this when I'm editing a bit. Like there it was, but whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyways, there's fucking aliens, guys. There's aliens. Okay. And I don't know what to think about this because you know me, I'm a very skeptical person, but I'm also a very scientifically informed person. I understand a lot about like the fundamental ideas of science that we figured out, from like the Big Bang to how stars form, to how space-time works, to quantum mechanics at the small end, to relativity at the big end, biology, everything in between. Like I've studied science for many years, and it's not like I'm a scientist or I'm not even necessarily able to educate everybody on it, but I have a good,
enthusiast.
I have a good, I'm an enthusiast, and I have a good, well-rounded, basic understanding of most of what we've learned and understood as a species about science. And I love the idea of aliens, and I always have. I mean, when I was a kid, it was like, yes, aliens, you know, I would have jumped on anything because you want to believe in everything. But my skepticism as I grew up and became more knowledgeable about the laws of physics and my scientific understanding, it doesn't make me think there's no aliens out there. I absolutely believe there's intelligent life somewhere else in the universe. But none of it makes me a quick believer to they're visiting here across vast distances of space-time. And so I've always looked at it just similar to like Bigfoot and ghost stories. It's like, look, if you're going to explain to me that you saw a ghost, it has to be more compelling than just your anecdotal story of like, I saw a ghost when I was a kid. It's like, okay, if that's true, explain it in the laws of science or physics. How does this entity present itself? It comes out of the body and has some measurable characteristic that can interface with matter of the real world. What is it? It hides in the wood of the, you can't just say I saw a ghost. It's like, well, let's explain it scientifically. If there are ghosts, and it's not that it's not allowed by the laws of physics, it's that we should be able to study that, and we should be able to measure that, and we should be able to capture that or recreate that, and it's always like, oh, you can't see it, or it eluded our cameras, or you can't, there's no way to measure it, or
got
whatever.
it on camera
whatever.
And stuff.
It's just, it's like the more I've studied things, the more I'm like, okay, none of this stuff is real. It's not that it's impossible. It's that you need to give me some more compelling evidence or proof. And aliens and UFOs was very much like that way, where I'm like, look, of course I believe that somebody can create a spaceship. I mean, we do that. Of course, we've sent robots to other planets. Of course, other beings probably do live out there, but everything was just like some weird, wacky story or filming something that never was compelling. Always like weird whack jobs that were so invested in, like, I saw a UFO, I was abducted by a UFO. It's like, how come it's always the weird people in society? But then these stories keep coming out from like very credible people. U.S. Navy pilots, multiple of them, who didn't just see that on the radar, see it on their instruments. They saw it with their own eyes, so and they have compelling stories. And there was a guy, David Fravor, who was on Joe Rogan's podcast. Very believable. And of course, it's just his story, but you try to make a good judgment of like, is this person crazy? Is he not crazy? Because there was another guy who was on his podcast who Bob Lazar, who also had that Netflix documentary. And it's like, I mean, he acts confident, but he seems a little like, I don't really believe you. It seems like I don't know. David Fravor does not make me, he seems like a very I was just flying around in my jet and I saw that, and this is what happened. And I don't know. I'm not into this stuff, but I don't know. And then the other woman came forward, and then other pilots came forward, and then video came out. And I started going down the rabbit hole, and like there's other videos that I've seen that look like the Tic Tac, but it's just filmed by other people. And it's just, then the Pentagon came out and said, this is real. And now the news is talking about it like it's real. And I'm like, what is going on? How is nobody freaking out over this?
Yeah.
Like, there's a high probability that in the next couple weeks, the United States Senate is going to get a detailed report from the Pentagon that they are seeing UFOs every single day and they don't know what they are. And that they're now coming out with this. And it's just
crazy.
I'm like, what? This is like, dude, conspiracies that everybody thought were so wacky are just like more and more. I'm just like, I don't even fucking know anymore. I don't know what's real and what's fake. Like for years, people were talking about like the rich billionaire elites are going to secluded islands to have pedophile rings and sacrifice children. And it's like, okay, dude. And then it's like Jeffrey Epstein. He's a billionaire who's connected to all these billionaires. And then he kills himself. Obviously, totally killed himself. But fucking Bill Gates now is coming, like all this info. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates just got divorced. And then all this info starts dropping that a big reason was his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Gates, the guy who's like, oh, we're trying to save the world and cure malaria and get your vaccines. And everybody's like, I don't trust this Bill Gates. And then he comes out with this documentary, like making himself seem like, oh, I'm just this great philanthropist. Like he's really changed his image over the last like several decades from being this crazy, money hungry, power hungry, ruthless businessman to I'm this philanthropist who cares about the world and wants to save the world. And I'm just this like nice old grandpa. And it fooled a lot of people and it fooled me. I was like, wow, it's crazy how he turned into like the good one. And Steve Jobs kind of went down in history as like the ruthless one.
Yeah.
But then it's like, then they get divorced. And then all this stuff comes out that like, he was very close with Jeffrey Epstein. He flew on his jet. He lied about all of this and denied all of this. And now it's coming out that he was on the flights to Florida. He asked Jeffrey Epstein for marital advice on how to break up his marriage. He was
Here, sleep with this young girl.
Dude, I'm saying, and so
that's how you break up your marriage.
Melinda Gates was saying that in the documentary, like, oh, Bill just goes to his cabin once a year to get a good getaway, and we have this deal where like he gets to get secluded, and that's how they like wrote it all. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I like that. And even I told you, I was like, I need to do something like that because I like that idea of like I need to like get away and just focus on let my own creative juices flow. Juices, Bill Gates let his juices flow because it comes out that he had a deal with her that like he got to go on this getaway with his ex-girlfriend, his first girlfriend from like 30 years ago. And that's what these getaways are, but they never say that. It's just like, I saw the documentary and then I saw this story that like, oh, he keeps in touch with his ex-girlfriend and he made Melinda Gates before marrying him promise that he was still allowed to do like an excursion once a year with this girl. Okay. And that's whatever, but it's painting this whole image of like, Bill Gates is this billionaire, the richest man in the world, was going and was needing to be friends with Jeffrey Epstein, not just for who knows what, the girls going on the planes, the parties, who knows, but he wanted to get a Nobel Peace Prize, and he needed Jeffrey Epstein to fund it and connect him to the Nobel Peace Prize committee. How the fuck is Bill Gates, the richest, one of the most brilliant, influential men in the history of the world, needs to go through Jeffrey Epstein, the ringleader of an international elite pedophile ring? And he needed his help and his money to be able to get a Nobel Peace Prize. It's like, okay, child pedophile rings of the billionaire elites on private islands. That's true. That's happening. Yeah, that's going down. Who knows how deep that rabbit hole goes? Who knows who actually killed Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah.
The fucking sorry, Mom. The security guards at the prison. I mean, we all know Jeffrey Epstein didn't just miraculously kill himself.
Yeah.
Oh, we're under 24-hour surveillance and the cameras were off and the guards for some reason didn't check on him and then he just hung himself. And
he knew the perfect time.
How did he do that?
Yeah.
Wow. The guards just came out and admitted that they lied and falsified records, and that they were just browsing like Amazon or something, like shopping for something on their computers at the time. And that's why they didn't. It's like, okay, yeah, I mean, we know somebody went in there and killed him, but it's like, who? The Clintons? Bill Gates?
Yeah.
Who knows? Some Saudi prince? I don't know. The English prince? What? British prince? What? How do you say it? I don't know. Nobody gives a fuck about your royalty. Our royalty in America are the Kardashians, okay? You guys have like queens and kings and bloodlines going down through incestual generations of fucking your cousins and your sisters and your daughters going back 500 years to get to that level of royalty. We just got the Kardashians who did a few lip injections, butt implants, and boom, they're more influential.
And a sex tape.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
I know. Got to give head to get ahead. People are like, Kylie Jenner is the first youngest self-made billionaire woman. Really? I'm pretty sure she wasn't a self-made billionaire. I think you can thank her surgeons first and foremost.
Has she got anything done?
Kylie Jenner?
Oh, Kylie.
What are you talking about?
I thought you meant her sister, the model one.
She's gotten stuff done too, but she's way more natural. She's actually pretty. Mm-hmm. She kind of always was. Kylie was very unfortunate looking. But you're calling her this first, like, a self-made billionaire? Pretty sure you can thank the surgeons for making her look beautiful, because she certainly wasn't born that way. And if anybody deserves the credit for making that family, I think it's Kim Kardashian for sucking Ray J's dick. All right? She did a terrible job, so unenthusiastically at the same time. Worst sex tape ever. We've done a better sex tape than that. Awful. Anyways, where was I going with that? Bill Gates and...
Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, so it's like, who the fuck killed him? And then it's like, okay, that clearly is some weird conspiracy theory that nobody ever, like, I would never take seriously before. And now it's like, yeah, it's all lining up. And then UFOs come out and it's like, oh yeah, we're seeing these UFOs everywhere. And they're saying they see them every day.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
And they've been seeing them every day for decades. So it's like, every crazy story we've ever heard and ever dismissed, it's now like, who fucking knows, dude?
9/11.
Who knows?
I'm just kidding.
Tower 7, right? Look, I saw 9/11. I know airplanes flew into it. Do I believe that it wasn't orchestrated or allowed by the U.S. government? I mean, there's room for conspiracy in there of like capitalizing off a tragedy, but do I think it was holograms who flew into the no.
Oh, I didn't even know that was.
Dude, people are like, the airplanes weren't real, it was digital, and the buildings were wired with explosives, as though you can just wire detonation cord throughout a 110-story building without anybody noticing at work.
You just take out the bottom.
You're the expert on demolitions. No, these things are insane projects that you can't just go to work and be like, oh, the office looks normal. There'd be fucking wires and cords and explosives everywhere. No. Building 7, who knows? Maybe they did something on that. I don't know. I mean, that one could be weird. But either way, it's like, just because somebody capitalizes off a tragedy, that's different. I expect the U.S. government to do that. I don't think that their hands are clean on everything, but I do think planes flew into the buildings and the buildings fell down because of planes flying into the building. I mean, that's my overall belief. And just the amount of people you would have to get to lie and keep that secret forever, it's just very unlikely. I don't know. I just don't get deep into that. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the comments right now like, you don't even know. I've looked into Tower 7. Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. It's like, no, I know. But jet fuel can ignite carpet and walls and furnitures, which can melt steel beams. You know, it's totally different. And it can weaken the steel beams. And it's a 110-story building on top. And once it starts going, it's like, come on. And that thing did not fall like a controlled demolition. Everybody who says that, it's like, no, it didn't. Those buildings like fucking fell over. The whole top fell sideways, and it was a crumbling mess by the end of it. It didn't just implode.
The bottom of it didn't seem to.
You never saw the bottom. Look at pictures. The things fell off everywhere. There's videos of the building completely falling sideways, and like parts of it.
No, it would have hit the buildings next to it.
It did. Everything was covered. The whole area was destroyed. But
not the buildings.
She's the expert. Look, we got a 9/11 truther over here too. My point is, it didn't fall like a controlled demolition. It fell like a chaotic building collapsing after an airplane flew into it and it burned for an hour. That's how it fell. Whatever. My point is
aliens.
All the shit's coming out. And I'm like, what do I think? Like, why is nobody going crazy about this? You know how we used to talk all the time, like old alien movies, Independence Day.
Oh, that was
like,
so good.
if aliens, even presidents are like, if Ronald Reagan gave a speech one time, like if aliens ever visited us, it would, which is kind of suspect. It's like, why is the president saying this? Like, does he know something we don't know? It was a really kind of creepy speech.
That
but
was weird, yeah.
He was like, that would instantly end all wars and foreign conflicts because we would know, like, we are one human race and we are in this together.
And we have to defeat the aliens.
And then it's like, this shit's coming out and people are just like, anyways, make sure to respect pronouns. Like, people are just fucking talking drama and nonsense.
Well, a lot of people don't watch the news.
No, people have heard about this. It's on everything, and it's coming out more and more. It was on 60 Minutes the other night.
Who watches 60 Minutes?
Erin, have you ever been on Twitter? Anything that's on mainstream media gets retweeted and parroted. People know about this. They just all don't care. Everybody's just like, anyways, what are the Kardashians up to? Got to keep up with the Kardashians. It's literally like
so crazy.
Not interesting to people, even though the stories and the evidence and the narrative is very compelling. And I'm over here like, am I the crazy? Like, why is nobody caring about this? So I'm like, but even me, I'm like still holding, I'm not diving into it. I'm just like, what is the explanation here? Because if these stories are true, and if the video is true, and if the report that comes out from the Pentagon is true, then there's only a few options. There are crafts that are developed by humans, whether it's the U.S. military, the Chinese military, the Russian military, that nobody knows how it works, and they're so advanced that they outcompete the top aircraft that the U.S. military has ever designed, and nobody understands their propulsion system. How they're doing like 1,700 Gs or something. Like, you realize human pilots pass out at like 10 Gs, I don't know, 12 Gs. I don't know the exact number, but it's like
low.
15 Gs. Most people are dead.
Yeah.
You know, they're dead. This thing is going insane direction and speed changes in an instant, dropping from huge altitudes all the way down to totally stop without any signs of heat, propulsion, wings, sound, evades radar, can go in the ocean, out of the ocean, disappear.
It's nuts.
And reappear other places. That's the story. It's like either everybody's lying, which seems unlikely, or they're actually having encounters with something that they can't explain that's man-made, which is pretty fucking terrifying if China just has these crafts that nobody can explain and outperform all, which I don't really believe. If anything, it's probably the U.S. military, and they're just not telling these pilots, and they have some crazy technology that we don't even know about. Maybe that's an option, which is crazy. Or there's aliens that are coming from another planet / galaxy somewhere far off in space, or it's interdimensional beings. This sounds fucking crazy, but these are the options.
Yeah.
They're coming from another dimension, which is, I think, sounds crazy, but because of my understanding of science and physics, which I talked about before, and we can get into this, I think is more likely than some alien traveling from some far off star system, because it would take millions of years to get here at the speed of light. The closest star is like 4 light years away. That's the closest star. That's not even like necessarily the star they're coming from. I think it's 4 light years. Look at me. I'm like, I know all this science stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. But that's at the speed of light, the fastest speed possible by anything with mass, any form of matter that we know of. Either all our laws of physics are wrong. That's another option. Or they're coming from deep out of under the ocean or something. It's like maybe this advanced civilization lived here under the ocean. And it's like all of these
Atlantis.
sound fucking crazy, dude. Like the fact that I'm even humoring these ideas. And yet, what else is the options? It's like it's all made up and it's all lies, and they're just like deceiving us for some crazy reason. But the stories seem compelling from these airline pilots or the Air Force pilots that they actually saw it. I guess Navy pilots, whatever, that they saw it. Seems compelling. I'm going to go ahead and take that, give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they saw what they saw and they can't explain it. Yeah. They're experts in aviation and the most advanced military machines that we have. They don't know what they saw. They explain this. I've seen other people saying the same thing. I've seen other videos that corroborate what they've done. They're saying they see this every day. The Pentagon's confirmed it. News organizations are confirming it. Even other skeptics, like famous skeptics, like Sam Harris and other podcasters and science and philosopher, intellectual types on the internet who don't believe any of this stuff. Even they are starting to come out and be like, we are going to have some very uncomfortable conversations soon about the real possibilities of UFOs being real. Yeah. And these are people who would never have said this even a year ago. So I'm like, okay, even they're like, what is going on? So it's like, what the fuck is happening? And why does nobody care about this? It's so crazy, dude. It's so crazy. And that's why I don't think it's like, let's just say it is a craft and it's not U.S. military and it's not Russia and it's not China and it's not just made up story and it's not just military propaganda to get more funding or whatever, which they don't even have to do because they get funding no problem for any fucking thing. They could just be like, we need a space force. It's like, they'll do it. Whatever. Here's $10 trillion. We got you. Let's say it is a craft and nobody can explain it. Okay, then it's the craft comes underwater, the craft comes from far out in space, or the craft pops in from another dimension. Those are the options. And every single one of them is insane.
Yeah.
I would literally laugh at you a year ago if you were seriously like, no, you don't understand, man. And I'm like, okay. So I don't know what to think because I'm always looking for a rational explanation to things.
It's hard to wrap your brain around.
It is. It's like so nuts. And it's even crazier when it's like I'm sitting here trying to rationalize this and yet nobody even cares and nobody's even talking about it. So then it makes me seem like some crazy conspiracy guy. And I'm like, no, but there is something that needs to be explained and there's not any comfortable explanation for it. And I don't like... A craft coming at the speed of light from another star system is very unlikely. The speed of light, as fast as we think of it being, is incredibly slow. Mm-hmm. It would have to have left wherever it came from many millions of years ago just to get here at this exact time and for what purpose and what kind of tech. And that's at the speed of light. It's unfeasibly difficult to believe that something comes from that far out in space unless they're doing something different that goes faster than the speed of light, which as far as we know from the laws of physics is not possible. Mm-hmm. But then I understand like how dimensions work and there is mathematical.
So is that the one that you think then?
I'm just saying that I think that's more likely for how something can come from a very far distance or how something could be, because even if something comes from a far distance, this is crazy. We're even talking about this, but even if something came from a very far off star system or galaxy at the speed of light, and they somehow had the technology to go the speed of light, and they could either send a robot or a drone or put their bodies into sleep or whatever it is to take that long distance to come here.
Yeah.
They still have to abide by the laws of physics here. There's aerodynamic forces. There's G forces. You need wings to, like, how is it flying? Mm-hmm. How is it propulsion? How is it moving up and down? How is it popping in and out of existence very fast? None of that fits the laws of physics.
Wouldn't there be a purpose too? Like if you did travel all this way, wouldn't you be here to do something just to like specific?
Float around? Yeah. And they've been here for decades, supposedly. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't understand. So that's why I was like, maybe this is evidence of another. If you understand how dimensions work and the mathematics of dimensions, there can be other dimensions that are literally, and I don't just mean like, oh, it's from another dimension, like like a psychedelic trip, although there is some overlap to those philosophies and theories. I'm saying the mathematical and scientific idea of what a dimension is. We live in the third dimensional space. You have a point which has no dimensions, no width, no height, no depth, right? Then you draw a line. That's a one-dimensional thing. It has length. It has no width, no height.
Yeah.
Then you take that line into another dimension, you connect them, you got a square. It's a two-dimensional square that has length and width, but no height. And then you bring that up into the third dimension and you have a cube and you have length, width, and depth.
Yeah.
That's where we live, with another dimension of time. But a fourth dimension or fifth dimension, depending, I guess, how you would describe it, could be something that's right around us that we have no perception of. In the same way that, like, if an ant was walking around this table on a square, they're just on a two-dimensional plane. I mean, obviously in the real world, it does have depth, even if it's very small.
Yeah.
But just imagine it's just a flat creature living on this two-dimensional square. And we're up here in the third dimension like, hey, guys, we can see you. But they can't look up or down. Like, they don't know about up. They don't know about down. They only can look left, right, forward, and back. And they just have no concept that we can see everything they do and we can perceive them perfectly, but they can't perceive us at all. And we could reach down in there and just pick them up and pull them up into the third dimension. And they would just be like, what the fuck is this? Or we could come down into that dimension and be like, put our finger down there, but they wouldn't see our whole body. They wouldn't just magically see my whole face and my arm.
Yeah.
They would only see the part of my finger that touches their dimension. It would just be like a little point or a little circle or a little blob that comes in. And if I put my hand like through, they would see like a cross section of my hand pop in and out of existence, right? That's how they would perceive us from another dimension.
Yeah.
And then if we pulled their hand back out, it would just disappear. And they would be like, what the hell is going on? Sounds crazy, but this is how dimensions work.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, these things are popping in and out of existence. Nobody can understand. It doesn't seem like they have any propulsion. It doesn't match any of our understanding of the laws of physics. It doesn't fit my understanding of just how impossibly unlikely it is that an actual craft would fly here at the speed of light across vast distances of space-time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe it is something from just some higher dimension that's literally right next to us, and they just pop in and pop out. And to us, we just see this little orb that pops in and disappears, and we're just like, what the fuck? But it doesn't match up with any of our understanding, which that's fucking crazy too.
Yeah.
You know, all of this is crazy. But
what is the purpose?
I know.
What are they trying to do?
Or it's a
the
simulation, you know, maybe that's a theory. We're living in the simulation and this is just like a glitch in the code or what. It's like anything that you rationalize, what is this? But there is an explanation and I don't know what it is. And then I listen to other scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I like Neil deGrasse Tyson. And that's what's funny is like scientists are the most skeptical. You would think he loves the idea of space and aliens and he understands space time, but that's what makes him the most skeptical. Similar to me is like, he's like, look, the idea that these things are jumping in crafts to fly across millions of light years is just very unlikely and impossible almost to the point, you know? So he's very like, no. But Rogan's like sitting there listening like, so what is going on? And he's like, their instruments are malfunctioning. It was a weather balloon. It was this. And it's like,
even with this new information that's out?
I'm like, that does not sound likely to, you know, it's like, that's not a very, I agree. That could be what's going on. They're looking at something they don't know, but they saw it with their eyes too.
Yeah.
You know? They're all having a mass hallucination. Yeah, maybe they saw something that is human made that they can't explain, but that still puts you into the territory of what the fuck? These countries have somebody invented something that we don't understand any of its propulsion systems, and it performs in a way that
they're not saying anything, and they're just around like, America,
what
like
the fuck,
watching us or whatever.
Yeah. I just don't know what to think about it. So to be more comfortable, I'm just like, it's probably no, not that. That doesn't make me more comfortable. I'm just like, when I weigh all the crazy ideas of what people are saying it is, aliens or whatever, I'm like, interdimensional to me sounds more likely than flying here at the speed of light. That just, to me and my understanding of the vastness of space, it's not like they're right next door.
Yeah.
This is like, it's just even at the limits of everything we know about physics, it's unlikely they could come here. I mean, that's why you wouldn't do that necessarily. And then why would you? Human beings have only been advanced for the last couple of 100 years, maybe 1,000 years. Go back to agriculture. 10,000 years ago was when we started farming. We started writing things down 10,000 years ago. That is 10,000 years. It takes millions of light years at the speed of light to come here. They would have to know, like, all right, we're leaving 900 years, 9 million years ago, 900,000 years before, just so we can get here to watch them when they start farming, or like, how would they even know? We've only been sending out radio signals since the last 100 years. Like, the only way aliens would even know we existed is if they got our radio signals or any type of signal from Earth saying, oh, now we're sending out electromagnetic signals, or we launched off nuclear weapons, which is an interesting theory. I didn't know we were going to get into all this today, actually, but they're saying these things really started appearing in like the 1950s, 1960s. What did we do 5 years before that? We blew up nuclear weapons. That's a sign to anybody looking that, like, oh, these creatures are advanced now. We just launched a nuclear weapon. And then all of a sudden, all these things, I guess, start appearing. Yeah. That's what they're saying. Yeah. And that's when we heard about Roswell, New Mexico, and all this. It was in the 60s, late crazy. 50s or 60s. Yeah. And it's like, okay, those are conspiracies. That's just government stuff, and it's top secret crafts. And now it's like, now they're saying we've been seeing these every day for decades, and it started around it then. It's like, wait a second. Okay, so maybe that's when they came. So let's say some signal was sent out. A signal can only go at the speed of light too. And where did it go in 50 years? It's not even to the next star. Like, they can't see that. So what? They're just floating around Earth waiting for the signal to be like, none of that seems like the most logical explanation to me. Yeah. How would they know anybody was here? Anybody was smart? Like, one speck of dust in a solar system with a bunch of rocks that have no life on it. Well, that thing that they sent out in space that had the music playing. Yeah, and that's nowhere. That's in the Kuiper Belt. The Kuiper Belt is literally right outside. It's like where Pluto is. Oh. And it's been traveling for 50 years. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's not even out of our solar system. It's not even away from the sun, let alone anywhere close. It's going to go out into interstellar space where it's literally in the dead of blackness and sees nothing and hears nothing, and nothing is there for 4 million light years. What is it? What is the distance? I got to stop saying 4 million. I know that Andromeda, no, that's the nearest galaxy. What's the nearest sun? Nearest star to Earth. I think it's maybe 4 million light years. Oh, 4 light years. So that's at the speed of light. It would take 4 years just to get to the nearest star. But we know about these near stars. Like, we don't see signs of life. We're not seeing any of this. And even still, all right, it takes 4 years just to get to that one star. To traverse the galaxy, just our galaxy, it takes like 100,000 light years or something to get to the nearest galaxy. That's probably what I was thinking of. Nearest galaxy, which is the Andromeda galaxy, is, what's the distance? 25,000 light years from the sun to the nearest galaxy. That's actually closer than I thought. 70,000 light years? 25,000. So at the speed of light, which we're not even anywhere close to, and is physically impossible. This is the other thing. This is physically impossible too, because matter does not go the speed of light. It has to be massless. The more mass you add, the more energy you need, and it breaks down. The only things that go the speed of light are electric signals. photons and electromagnetic waves because they don't have mass.
Yeah.
So you can get close to the speed of light if you understood perfectly how to create that, but you still need propulsion. You need some way to do that. It doesn't just pop in and out of existence. So whatever, maybe. So something 25,000 light years away or even 4 light years away is waiting for the exact right time to, and then there's a whole civilization living at the next star that we look at and we kind of have a lot of knowledge of, and we've seen no evidence of that. I don't know. Maybe, but doesn't seem likely. So I'm just like, I don't know. But either way, that's fucking crazy if that is true. It's crazy if it's interdimensional beings. It's crazy if it's human technology, which also that's kind of where I'm like, it's probably something much more likely and rational than aliens or interdimensional beings, that it's another government or it's the US government who has technology that we can't explain, which is nuts. It's just every situation that I think of is nuts. And nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares. And everybody's just having fun being like, let's post on social media. Here's my selfies. And also, Biden, stock market's tanking. Boo-hoo. Trump's bad. Pronouns.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of still, I wake up in the morning and I'm not checking what is going on with these aliens. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what's the stock market up to? How's crypto doing today? I do still check that. But
you do that every morning and it puts you in such a mood. Like, stop looking at it.
Sometimes a good mood.
Yes.
Well, I'm looking at it because I want to make a decision
down,
if I need to, because the stock market, well, I'm not worried about the stock market. The individual stocks I have doing terrible. I mean, everybody's stocks are kind of down individual, but I've just held them. I don't really care. I don't mind that they're down. They'll come back or whatever. But I don't have a bunch of money in individuals.
Ones are up.
That's not a public stock. Publix. But not, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Then most of my money in the stock market is in index funds. So I'm not worried about that. The S&P 500, those are safe bets. You know, you just leave your money in there for years. It'll be fine. I don't need to check that. I'm not worried about that. But crypto is very volatile. And I have been making big bets on crypto.
Yeah.
Put a bunch into Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano.
Doge.
And of course, you got to get the Doge. You got to get the Doge going. We're just switching it up from fuck you aliens to I don't know about the aliens, guys. That's the whole point. I have no fucking clue, but I do also not know about crypto. I don't know if crypto is going to. I go back and forth. I really believe in the long-term growth and future of cryptocurrencies. Not all of them. A lot of them are scams. A lot of them are going to go to zero. A lot of people are going to lose a lot of money. I don't think Doge is even a real thing, but I believe in meme culture and I believe in the internet. So I think there is some intangible value to everybody memeing about Dogecoin. That in itself, I think, gives it some type of value. But Bitcoin has legitimate use. Ethereum has legitimate use. Cardano has, I think, even the most legitimate use out of all of these.
Because it was accepted as
they're using it, they're trying to use it to create the monetary banking systems of like African countries and third world countries. But they're using it already. They signed a deal to use it to run like the ID system of all the students in Ethiopia. I think it's Ethiopia. Because it's a blockchain where like, how do you, when you're in a country where, and I'm not an expert on Cardano exactly, on like exactly what their deals is with these countries, but the overall idea of like a blockchain is you can have a decentralized database of all kinds of information. Bitcoin is using it just for money. Like it's digital gold and it keeps track of everybody's money, basically, where you don't need a banking system to say, here's your money and here's your money. And when you write a check, we verify that you have the money in the account and you sent the money. And then we're the middleman and we control everything. A decentralized blockchain just basically allows all these different computers to keep this ledger of like, you have this money and he has this money and keep it all in order. Bitcoin is just kind of focused on storing that value. Ethereum is similar to that, but it also creates it's kind of more like a platform, like the internet of money, where you're not just storing money and sending money, but you can actually build apps on top of it. Or you could create smart contracts where, like, I want to sell you my house and I don't want to get a bank involved. And this is very just surface level, but I could create like a smart contract where the money is exchanged with terms, not just I send you money, but like we enter into a contract and the blockchain can keep track of all that.
Yeah.
Cardano is similar to that. I think it was actually built by the guy who helped start Ethereum, but he had different goals for what he wanted Ethereum to do. So he's kind of split off and started Cardano. And Cardano is similar to where you can build apps on it. So you can run all kinds of smart contracts, all kinds of financial services, all kinds of whatever, but you also can run like an ID system where the US government gives us driver's license, well, state governments, and then gives us social security cards. And they're the ones who kind of issue and keep track of all this because we have a stable first world country. But when you're talking about something like Ethiopia, you're going to get the warlords out there. You're going to get the pirates to do it. You're going to have some database in an office somewhere where somebody can just sack it and destroy everything. Yeah. And then you don't know who any of these people are or I don't know what they're using it all for, but it's just that kind of idea makes it much more useful for them to put this onto a blockchain where you can't destroy it. You don't need a stable government to run it. You don't need
tamper with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this is one of the use cases of the future of cryptocurrency that they're doing on Ethereum and they're doing on Cardano. And Bitcoin is slightly different, but is the one that kind of started all of this the cryptocurrency revolution. So they all seem very useful and they seem like they have a future. And yet it's also like the beginning of the internet, where when the internet first came out, people were like, what's internet? What do you use internet for? And nobody knew what it was or how it worked, or like, okay, why will I ever need that? No, this is going to revolutionize the world. I showed you a video of like Katie Couric and like Matt Lauer, huge NBC anchors who are still on the air today, except for Matt Lauer because #MeToo. This is like recent history because they're still famous names today. Mm-hmm. And you can watch a video of them being like, what's the internet? What is internet? They don't even say the internet. They're like, what is internet? I don't know. And they're like talking about, is it like email? What is that symbol on the email? Like, it's literally like they don't understand any of this. And this was just 20, 30 years ago, That's
crazy.
And yet now, nobody still knows. Most average people don't know how the internet works. You just know the value of the internet. Yeah. You understand, like, oh, you go to websites, you can look this up, you can Google things, you can send money, you can do social networking, you can watch YouTube videos. It's not like you understand how HTTP protocols work or, any of the underlying functionality of the internet, but you understand the massive value of the internet, just like how you could build Amazon on top of it, and now Amazon becomes this multi-billion, trillion-dollar corporation that changes all of our lives. And you're like, oh, that's kind of what we're looking at with like cryptocurrencies is we're at the beginning stage of the new internet where we're still like, okay, cryptocurrencies, what do you do on it? You can do what? And in 20, 30 years, there's going to be all these things that run our lives that are going to be built on blockchains, basically.
So is it too like the more that people use it then? Because Cardano just seems like it's going to be, part of it is going to be where you use it as a function and not as money. Does that increase its...
Both. It has a token attached to it, just like Ethereum does. Like Ethereum has the Ether token. That's what I'm investing in. Okay. But it also has a blockchain platform that people can build apps on and do things. It's tied to the token where anything that uses money or exchange of value is using that token. Mm-hmm. And that token does have a market value. Yeah. But the apps themselves are not necessarily solely focused on the token. Like, well, I mean, I think it is when things are coming out of, NFTs is a new craze that everybody's heard about, and you're hearing talk of it all over the internet. And it's basically like, oh, I can create this digital artwork or release an album or do whatever, and I'll sell it as an NFT, which is a unique. It's like creating the Mona Lisa, where anybody can have a copy of the Mona Lisa. You buy a poster, you take a picture of it, boom, I have the Mona Lisa. It's like, yeah, but you don't have the original Mona Lisa.
Yeah. That's
kind of what an NFT is I could create some digital file, put it on the Ethereum blockchain, mint it as an NFT and say, this is the original one of a kind NFT. And now that's like a piece of art that can be bid upon, traded, sold, all on the blockchain of Ethereum. But it's being sold with Ether, the currency of what the Ethereum blockchain is. Cardano is very similar to that, but Ethereum is very decentralized. As far as I know, Ethereum is much more decentralized. It has some scaling issues. I'm trying to get more fluent on all the actual tech of everything, the deeper I'm getting into things. But my understanding is that Ethereum, it's a great technology. There's a lot of potential things that are being built on top of it, just like NFTs, smart contracts, things like that. But it has scaling issues, and because it's decentralized, there's not really an authority that can help with things. So like Ethereum, if they went to Ethiopia and was like, hey, you should put your entire student registry on our blockchain, or you should put your whole banking system on our blockchain, they're like, okay, can you help us with that? And they're like, no, it's all decentralized. You figure it out. It's like, that's not going to work for some third. Yeah. They need support, you know? Cardano is much more, it's a decentralized blockchain as far as how they keep track of the ledger, but they have an actual like foundation behind them, a huge team of people that are actually focused on like taking this to countries and to different places and needs around the world and saying, this is how it can help you. This is how we can help you get really on it. This is what it can do for you. Let us help you. And so they're kind of spearheading this as a movement. And so for all of those reasons, I'm like, I want to invest in all of these things.
Where is that based out of? Where is this?
I don't know. I don't know that much about it. All I know is the guy who started it kind of helped start Ethereum. They split off. I'm definitely not an expert on all this stuff, but I have a basic understanding. I definitely understand how blockchains work, and I understand like the different coins, and I'm just focused on the ones that seem to have real utility and aren't scams outside of Doge. Obviously, Doge is a gamble, but I believe in meme culture. But I really believe, from everything I've been researching, not only just on people who are treating it just like investments and talking about the prices, Cardano seems like it might be the one that outperforms Ethereum and Bitcoin. I don't know, but I'm hedging, and I'm kind of putting money on all of them. I put money on Bitcoin months ago when it was pretty low. I had Bitcoin actually years ago in 2013. That was pretty lucky. I found it on a whole old hard drive. But Bitcoin is so volatile, and because it is the leader of the market, and because a lot of people are just speculating on these things, they're not really involved in the tech or the long-term value of the platforms and the stuff that can be the utility of it. They're just investing. They just want to buy it and sell it for more than they bought it for. So this past year with the pandemic and everybody getting stimulus checks, and the GameStop thing and the Wall Street bets thing and all these people, they're just like, let's throw this money into the stock market and crypto. So there's huge bubbles going on. And that's where I'm like, I do believe in the long-term value. I've been watching Bitcoin for years. I almost jumped in 2017 or 16 or 17 before it skyrocketed to 10,000 from 1,000. And I wanted to get in, but I didn't have enough money then to really gamble it, and I didn't do it. And then I was right. It went to 10,000, then it went to 20,000, but then it crashed to like 3,000 or something, and it stayed there for like 3-4 years.
That's crazy.
And now it's going back up. And I kind of watched that happen before, and I understand how the halving works of like, we won't get into all the technicals of like Bitcoin mining.
But it seems to do that.
It goes through these 4-year cycles.
Yeah.
So I'm watching that, and I understand it could be a bubble, and I'm holding it for the long term. I'm not really just short-term speculating. But because I'm aware other people are creating a bubble, and there was this huge bubble, and I saw the prices tank of Bitcoin, it's now tanking all the other cryptocurrencies. And I'm just like, okay, I know I'm holding this for the long term, but I also know that there's a high likelihood I could sell this now and buy in at a much cheaper price. And that would be a prudent financial move. That's why I'm checking it every day. That's why I'm trying to stay on top of it, because I am keeping up on the news and I'm trying to study more about where the future is and I kind of want to move more of my money to like Cardano.
Yeah.
Ethereum's been performing great for me. Bitcoin, I think, is a long-term gold, basically. But do I really want my money sitting there for 3 years, just jumping up and down, when I could move it and make that money do something better in Cardano, which I think might have a more steady climb once all of these cryptos kind of find their own lane and aren't all tied to, oh, Bitcoin's going up, all the cryptos are going up.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's going down, all the cryptos are going down.
Yeah.
And I've bought on Robinhood, and I've bought on Coinbase, and I've bought on Webull, and I've bought on PayPal. And I've been buying crypto all over these apps, and I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know how much money I had invested. I'm looking on like Robinhood and seeing, oh, my average buy-in price is 54,000 on Bitcoin. That's awful when it's down at 30,000.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but when you actually check all my Bitcoin on all these other things, my average price is much lower than that. But I didn't know how much Bitcoin I was holding. I didn't know how much it was worth.
Everywhere.
It's just too spread out. So
Yeah.
I've been putting together spreadsheets.
I know.
I've been figuring out expected value formulas. I've been getting this all figured out so that way I can just type in what the current price is of all the cryptos I'm invested in, know what my exact portfolio is, how much money I got, how much if I sold it all right now it would be worth, what my average buy-in price for all of these are if I liquidated. So that way, if I believe crypto is going to tank down to 50% of where it already kind of did, should I hold it? Should I sell it? And I've been making these decisions. And then I was at that decision point a couple days ago, like Sunday. A lot of times the crypto market drops a lot, and it already was dropping so much, and it was kind of down to this point where I was like, if it drops much lower than this, I think there's going to be a huge sell-off, and everybody's going to sell their crypto because now we've lost all the gains we've made this year. And so I was like, if that happens, I'm really screwed. Do I really want to hold on to this?
I know you were debating.
And I was
so
like,
long.
I don't know. It's about a 50-50. And so I was trying to figure out like, what is the best value here? And I just ended up deciding like, I'm going to hold it. I think it's pretty good chance that it'll hold steady. I made the right choice. It held steady. It started going back up. I got all my gains back. I'm pretty much to break even or, a little under every day. But I was down quite a bit for a while. And I was like, and then our friends, I have other friends, everybody's now investing. Everybody my age, everybody a little bit younger. This year just got everybody getting involved in investments. So I talked to my friends and stuff who are like, they're heavy into crypto and investments, but they got those weak paper hands. I got the diamond hands. They got the paper hands. They sell all the time. It's like the second it goes down, they're like, I can't do it. I just lost like half my money. It's like, just hold it.
I know.
And then he's like, no, I got out. I just sold it. I was like, well, you just lost all this money. And then he's like, I got all my money in Doge now. And this was like when it was at the peak. Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live. It went from, a couple, like 2 months ago, it was at 5 cents, 3 months ago, less than 5 cents. Then it got up to 75 cents. Insane returns. And he jumps in when it's like 50, 60, 70 cents. It goes up to 74 cents. And then it goes down to like 30 cents. And he's like, oh, fuck it. I can't do it. And he sells all that. It's like, dude, you suck at this. That is a great way to guarantee you lose money on everything you do.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm like,
I would just hold it all if it went down forever.
Exactly. That's where I was like, if it goes lower than this, I'm holding forever.
Yeah.
But then,
because it'll eventually come back around.
It's just, it'll be years.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm like, once it actually it didn't do that.
No,
it came back to kind of break even. And that's where I'm like, okay, now it's actually a harder decision for me to make because now I could actually sell it and get all my money back if I think it's going to go down again. Like it'd be better for me to sell it all. I break even. I didn't lose anything. And if it drops 20%, I'll buy in 20% cheaper, get more coins than I even had, and then let it climb up. And that's a smart move, if it goes down
But
and I
then
lost
there's
money,
the-
I'm like, I'll just hold it forever. I'm not going to sell at a loss once it's like that much lower. I'll just be like, all right, I'm
it's
holding
the whole
forever.
50-50 thing, because if you don't sell it, or if you did sell it and it didn't go down, it just went up, then it's like,
I know. That's always, you never know if it's going to go up or down. So
yeah.
that's why I'm trying to put these spreadsheets. I have it open in the background. I'm just like, I always look at it. I got it color coded and everything. I just type in where am I at right now? All right, I could liquidate right now. I break even. Oh, I'm up $500, $1,000. All right, I could do it. There was a time where I was up like $2,000 not too long ago, and I was like, this is great. I'm making tons of money. I made like 50% or something on my money in like a very short time.
That's awesome.
But then the next like 2 weeks, I was like, and it's all gone and then some. It's like, now I'm down $2,000. What the fuck happened? It's so volatile. It's all over the place. But that's why it was important to kind of put this work in. So
yeah.
I'm just doing a lot of studying on it. I got the surface understanding of how all this stuff works, but
I'd rather play blackjack.
I know. I honestly have been thinking that too. I'm like, I could take all this money and just go. Like, you know how I am on blackjack. If I took $5,000 and just put that on the blackjack, and not in one hand, I mean, I'd sit there and play for the night. But like, how much money could I make then?
That'd be crazy.
Probably make fucking $10,000 in a night. And over here, I'm like, ooh, I'm up $100. All right, and it's been like 3 months.
Damn it! I lost 5,000.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Crazy.
Maybe I will. All right, I'll sell. You've convinced me. I'm going to sell all my investments. I'm going to go play blackjack and see where it goes.
Okay.
I actually don't think that would be a terrible idea. I'm good at blackjack.
You are.
But
I'm really good at blackjack too. Trust my gut.
No, you have the same problem that our investor friend has. You have weak hands and you don't bet big when it matters.
I make money or I stay even, or I break even. Yeah, but
the thing is, your winning streaks are good and your ability to walk away when you're up money is good. Mm-hmm. But you are up way less money than you would be if you knew how to bet with some balls, Erin.
I know.
Sorry, not to be misogynistic to all you ladies out there who lack balls, or all you ladies who still have your balls. You know, it is 2021. I don't even know anymore. I can't. I was like 2013. No, you just like, you could make so much more money if you bet bigger, but you bet so conservatively. You're just like a little bit.
Yeah, because money is important.
Yeah, but you're gambling. Go big or go home. You shouldn't be gambling money that you need to pay your bills.
I know.
That's rule number one.
I do, so.
I think that is what makes me good at investing, is all those years of playing poker, playing blackjack, living in Vegas. I am a gambler. I'm willing to fucking bet money, but I also have hardened my nerves to like, dude, I'll just hold it. Whatever. I don't care. Whereas other people just see it go down a little bit. I see it at the blackjack tables all the time where people are like gambling and then they get so scared and they just bet the minimum all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's a guaranteed way to lose. A terrible strategy. And then there's other people who are just fucking crazy and just do the worst fucking moves. And then they get like, they call it tilt in poker anyways. Like, you go on tilt. Like,
what is that?
It's like when you start losing money, you start making bad choices, and then you kind of just self-sabotage and you just start losing your money like making the worst choices you should be making, because you're just like, fuck, I want to get it back so bad. And then it's like, oh, you're on tilt. You should walk away, bro. You're not thinking up here. You're thinking with your nerves, or, you know, whatever, your ego. But I see so many people, like we would play in Vegas and there'd be people who are like up these huge stacks, like huge amounts. And then they would start making these terrible choices. They'd lose all of their money, and then they would just start buying in tons of money and literally just lose it. Buy more in, lose it, buy more. And it's like, wow, dude.
Leave.
Like, you have
away.
Terrible self-control. Whereas I could sit there with $100 and fucking ride it all night long. And I'll have there are times where I'll build up a big stack and then I lose it. But it's like, okay, I mean, I didn't buy back in and lose more money.
Yeah.
I'm good at that. But also many times I walk away with money. Mm-hmm. We were on the cruise.
I know.
Fucking killed that.
That was great.
Thanks to your uncle.
Yeah.
Her uncle is a huge gambler and a huge cruiser.
Yes.
And he
all of his cruises are free.
He came on the cruise with me and my family. And because we were just having like he wasn't like part of our group, but like he just happened to be on the same cruise that we were on. And then he met my family and we all like kind of hit it off. But he was such a big gambler who's like, guys, let's go play blackjack. And my family's not like big into gambling. Me and my dad a little bit, but my dad doesn't play blackjack. And he offered to buy us all in. And I was like, well, hey, if you're going to, he's like, just pay me back if you guys win money. And I was like, that's fine for me. He buys in all of my family, buys me in, buys him in, playing big stakes. All of them lost money. I made all the money back, paid him back, and then made like tons of money on top of it. I fucking crushed it.
We went on an excursion with that money
it was
that
great.
you had.
Yeah, we did the whole 4-wheeling through like Dominican Republic and whatever else we did. Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear that.
I know.
Our little taco cat is out there. Guys, let me in. The one that almost died, but
survived.
He lived to meow the tail.
He didn't lose that function.
No. I don't know what else we got this week. Otherwise, I guess we're wrapping up.
Well, we did our first birthing class.
Oh yeah, that was actually. She forced me to go to. Nick, I need you to support me during this pregnancy. I need you to be a good father and come help me raise and grow your baby boy inside of me. I'm like, ugh. Can't I just fucking... I'm watching my crypto over here, all right? I'm looking at Coinbase and watching the charts, Erin. I don't have time to go to some labor class. But no, it's really nice. It's a bunch of yogis. You go in and it's like barefoot. I'm like, oh my God, even worse. Kill me.
I know, you're not supposed to wear shoes when you go inside the establishment.
I love that.
I know.
You know me.
I think it's great.
I never wear shoes.
Every time I go to my appointment.
I never wear shoes, guys. I'm always barefoot.
Same here.
It's like, oh, I have to put on shoes. Ugh. Mm-hmm. I'm actually going somewhere. And that's so uncomfortable and so restricting. I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
Like, can I just wear flip-flops and go somewhere? And it's like, yes. In fact, you're not allowed to wear shoes here. I was like, sweet. That actually was a bonus. Mm-hmm. But we went there and
yeah, it was nice. Our birthing teacher was a doula. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
She what was it? How do you explain it? That she is there supporting me as I give birth. She's not a midwife.
Because we know I won't do that.
She doesn't have any nursing experience, so she can't help if something like an emergency goes wrong. But she's there to support me and my partner as well.
Partner? What are we? Are we some non-binary, non-conforming, unorthodox relationship? Are you partners? What do I call you? Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife?
I'm saying me
partners?
and you, but I'm meaning it
Did you guys start
in a more
business together?
Sense.
What's going on? Are you guys cowboys on the open plain? Howdy,
supporting
partner.
The birth person and their partner.
Oh, she's a birthing person. Guys, we're so woke.
Just kidding.
She's no longer a mother. She's a birthing person.
I just knew that was a topic we had talked about recently.
This is the new woke language is don't say mother. Don't say pregnant women, say birthing person.
Yeah.
So we can be inclusive to men who also get pregnant. Because did you know men can get pregnant? They're called women.
Trans men.
Yeah, they're called women. That was I know, don't call them women, but it's like they are females. Yeah. They're called females, okay? Yeah. I had that joke on Twitter. Like that was one time I actually got banned from Twitter, like posting for a while.
Yeah.
Was somebody I used to troll on there, still do. And there was this article or somebody came out, it was some verified account with tons of retweets, went viral, and it was like, I am proof that men can have babies because I have just found out that I'm pregnant and I'm a man. And I was like, oh, congratulations. on finding out you're actually a woman. Because it was a trans man. It's like, see, men can get pregnant. It's like, yeah, we know. We know that if you're a woman who calls yourself a man, you can get pregnant because you're still a woman with a uterus and a menstrual cycle. Yeah, that's not news. It would be news if I got pregnant, okay? That's newsworthy, all right? You're not shocking the world. Stop the presses. A human female with a menstrual cycle and a cervix and a uterus with fallopian tubes got impregnated by a human male with sperm and had a human baby. Stop the presses. Did you guys know biology works this way? No, we didn't know. I guess because you changed your language to say, I'm a man instead of a woman, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I thought that meant you couldn't get pregnant anymore. What? It's amazing. I know, I'm so transphobic. How is that transphobic, though? It's like, guys, we know how males and females work, okay? This is basic anatomy and biology, all right? Yes. You can change your words all you want. I get it. You want to be called a woman or a man. Mm-hmm. You want to say gender is different than sex. Okay, well, when it comes to getting pregnant, it doesn't matter what your gender is. You're a female, okay? Mm-hmm. Only females get pregnant. Yes. Sorry, I'm going to say it right here. I know this is provocative.
I wish it was the other way around, though.
I don't. I'm going to go. I know. The world's not black and white, and there's shades of gray to everything, right? The world's not black and white. There's people of color in the middle that are shades of brown. I know. It's not all one or the other. But I am willing to say here, live, on the Quality Time podcast, that 100% of people who are pregnant or have ever been pregnant or who will ever be pregnant in the future of the history of the human race
what is it?
Are female.
Oh, that took a turn.
Dude, I know. This is people. I know we're talking about conspiracies. We're talking about aliens. We're talking about 9/11 Building 7. We're talking about international pedophile rings of elite billionaires. I know this is crazy fringe stuff. I got a conspiracy that will blow your mind. Pregnant human beings are females. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Stop the presses. I got banned from Twitter for responding that.
That's insane.
Congratulations on finding out you're actually a woman. Banned from post. That's hate speech, guys.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? They want so proud. Like, she's so proud. He is so proud of, like, look at me. I'm pregnant. I want to share with the world me being pregnant. And then it's like, but I'm ashamed of the fact that you said I was a woman. You want all the accolades without any of the truth. I get it. Yeah, whatever. Props to you, dude. Congratulations on being the first man ever to be pregnant, even though you're not. You're a male. I mean, you're a female. See, now I'm confused.
But yeah, the birthing class was good. And we watched a home birth. I'd never actually seen a home birth before. Yeah, this is the thing is, in case you guys haven't seen the build up to our pregnancy, go back and listen to the other episodes of this podcast, by the way. Hey, guys, subscribe to this podcast, please, and leave a like. Thank you. We need it. And go ahead and leave a review on iTunes because we got a lot of bad reviews from my haters on TikTok. Not that I read them, but they're there. But Erin is having a home birth. Yes. She is not one of these weak-ass bitches who are so... I guarantee that fucking trans man who's actually a woman, if you're so weak that you have to ban me from Twitter because I said congratulations, you're actually a woman. You know you're giving birth in a hospital. Damn straight. He's getting an epidural for sure. He's some weak ass beta. Oh, you can't call him a beta? What? Aren't you a man? This is how men talk, okay? Get used to it. Men make fun of other men all the time. You want to be a man? Welcome to the locker room, dude. You're a weak ass bitch, bro. How about that? Can I say that? You can't say you're a woman, but I can say you're a weak ass beta bitch. That's called treating you like a man. You're one of the bros now. See? Welcome. You're one of us.
This is how dudes are. They're always so, I'm a man. It's like, act like one then.
Let's fight then.
Fuck it, yeah. Well, you don't know what being a man is, okay? If that's how you act. That's not being a man. What is being a man at that point? I have short hair and I wear pants. That's what being a man is. I don't like aggressiveness. I don't like competition. I don't like anybody calling me out on bullshit. That's what being a man is. That's what real men do, okay? You don't have a penis. You've never peed at a urinal. You never jerked off. Sorry.
I've peed.
Never happened. You have a period and you're giving birth. Don't know any dudes who have ever done that. But if that's what you think a man is, then fine, you're a man. But I'm going to treat you like a man then. So stop complaining. This is going on a tangent. I'm getting fired up now. Anyways, Erin is not one of these weak ass beta bros. All right.
Oh my gosh.
She's a strong, independent, could be man, but she's a woman because she identifies that way. Her pronouns are she. Oh, you think? Are you checking your genitals?
I can't even see it.
Erin,
my belly's in the way.
Whoa. You're going to get us canceled. This is 2021, and you're checking your genitals as though that has any correlation to your biology or your gender. Oh, because you have boobs and a vagina, you think that's what makes you a woman? You think because you're pregnant, all of a sudden you're qualified to speak on what is a woman and
just
what's not?
Bit.
Wow. I can't believe I'm dating you. I should be dating that other dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would that make me gay if I dated a dude who has a vagina? You see, these are the questions that we really... What is it, the
bisexual sometimes?
Yeah, I've been because I've been writing jokes and like trying to come up with like funny arguments. I've been trying to like list new sexualities that can be included in the LGBT because we all know about like the super straight movement that blew up on the internet weeks ago, and it's hilarious. Twitter bans it, TikTok bans it. It's like, no, that's ridiculous. Really? Their whole fucking thing is just made up sexualities. And so we make up a sexuality that's actually valid.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, that's bigoted. That's hate speech. That's not allowed. Not valid. So then I was like, semi-bisexual's another one that's common.
That's what you would be.
Yeah, I'm a semi-bisexual. I'm only attracted to one sex, one gender.
I'm attracted to a man if they have a vagina.
Yes. At a time. I'm attracted to both genders, but only one gender at a time. I forget exactly what it is, but it's like, it's pretty funny.
Or no, yeah.
And then I was like, but I came up with one. I was like, I'm super asexual. Asexual now is a sexuality. Did you know that? Did you know that being asexual and not interested in sex and not wanting to have sex is a sexuality?
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Wow. So I've just decided that I'm not asexual. I'm super asexual. And what that means is I'm not sexually attracted to anybody unless I'm sexually attracted to them. Right? If you put Lizzo in front of me, sorry, I'm super asexual, just not interested. But if you put Erin in front of me, wow. I'm super asexual, but because I'm sexually attracted to you, that's why I'm attracted to you. So it's okay then. It's a new thing. I just came up with it. I think it's great. So that you can put that in the A category of the LGBTQIAA plus.
Goodness.
That sounds like satire saying that, but that's real.
Lot.
That's real.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the world we're living in. How can people not make fun of this? How is this considered not foolish to everybody? I don't care if you're gay or straight or whatever. Nobody gives a fuck. Dude, do whatever you want. But you guys are unironically throwing yourself parades and coming up with acronyms like LGBTQWXYZABC. Every fucking letter but S. No straight, no super straight, no super asexual, no semi-bisexual. You guys are a parody, dude. You guys are like, you guys are, it's like satire, but it's real life. It's crazy. And you can't make fun of this. We're not making fun of you and your sexuality. We're making fun of this dumb idea that you guys are just making up shit and running around with the entire alphabet and say, that was a joke I did today. It was like, it's the first day of Pride Month. And I was like, guys, today is the first day of Pride Month. As you all go to your parties and your parades and you see these rainbow painted crosswalks and everybody waving flags and cheering in every major city across America for the next month, just remember that gay people still aren't accepted in today's society. Like, who's not it? You guys are throwing parades in every cities and people cheer you on. Everybody has accepted you. Nobody doesn't want you here, but you guys are still acting like you're oppressed.
Yeah.
While we're throwing you parades. How oppressed can you be when the entire country throws you a parade for a month? Dude, the city of Atlanta literally has,
but it's on a one-on-one personal,
you're right.
like
in
way.
Topeka, Kansas. How many yes, I know gay people live there. Move. That's what you're saying is oppression, because these poor middle of nowhere people still are like, I don't know, seems kind of weird to me, bro. That's what you consider oppression? Just move to a city. Boom. You're not oppressed. I think oppression means if you live in a city, you're still oppressed. Like, don't you know, like, black people were actually oppressed in the 1950s and 60s? Everywhere. Every major city in America. Okay, that's oppression. You're not oppressed when you're throwing, we throw parades. Dude, the city of Atlanta has an entire intersection where every street is painted with a rainbow flag crosswalks.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's great. Nobody cares. It's great. Props to you, and it looks great. The rainbows look cool.
Yeah.
And it says, hey, we're very accepting of you. Where were we the other day? We were at a drive-thru, and we're looking at like some building, and it's got the American flag and the rainbow flag.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, there's just signals of like, hey, we accept you. We love you. We're here. You're welcome here. Everywhere. You're not oppressed. That's what we're making fun of, is you guys are trying so hard to be oppressed. You're not. And even if you want to say gay people are or were historically, like, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
We've come a long ways, though.
Exactly. Exactly. But,
society.
But when you make fun of the LGBTQ alphabet, you're not saying, hey, gay people, we don't want you here. You're saying, stop making up all these letters to this thing and just creating, I'm a asexual, I'm a questioning sexual, I'm a queer gendered, I'm a sapiosexual, I'm a furry fan, whatever the like, they just make shit up, and then they say they're having hate speech when other people make it up. Super straight, semi-bisexual, super asexual. That's what we're mocking. We're mocking how silly this whole idea is that you guys,
especially if they can pick and choose.
Exactly. Just at a
this
certain
one's
point,
okay, yours is not.
At a certain point, just say, hey, we are the not straight people. Fuck straight people. Like, that's what they're saying. Like, nobody cares, dude. I've gone to gay pride parades. They're fucking great. I'm not at all like closed-minded when it comes to sex or like people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, go for it, dude. It's fun. It's a great party. They probably say that's cultural appropriation now. Oh my God, you're straight. You're making people feel fear for their life at their own parade where it should be a safe space. That's probably a narrative that goes on now. I've been to gay pride many times. When we lived in Atlanta's one of the gayest cities in America. Gay. But me and Kelsey and all our friends, we'd fucking go all the time. It was just a great time. It's right there at Piedmont Park. We'd go, we'd eat food, we'd see everybody in their outfits, we'd high five people. Everybody's friendly. Like, you're not oppressed. Yeah. And you're certainly not oppressed by me or anybody like me. You're oppressed by your one fucking shithead dad in the middle of somewhere in Texas. That's not Austin or Dallas or Houston or even El Paso, probably. You know, it's like none of these places are where you're oppressed. some fucking town with 40 people and everybody's oppressed there. Like you do one fucking thing, like people probably make fun of you forever and beat you up for it just because you played you write with your left hand instead of your right hand, you fucking weirdos.
Rude.
Beat it out of him. We ain't gonna have no lefties in this school. Like, it's so dumb. That's what we're mostly mocking. It's that idea of this shit's getting silly.
Yeah.
The whole thing's getting silly. Not you having sex with dudes or girls, but when you start saying, I'm a man and I'm pregnant, it's like, all right, we're not allowed to laugh a little bit at this. Really? Come on. And you can come because, you got a dick and balls if you're. See, now I'm confused again. I'm that was the thing. Well, that's how we got onto this was the birthing person.
Yeah.
That's what got me going this week. I was like, this is fucking crazy. So instead of if women are birthing persons, because you have to be inclusive to trans women or trans men who are women. I know. Yes, I know. But if you are going to be a birthing person, then I would like to be a sperm providing human. Or, we should call men that. Which also
sperm donor.
I'm not a sperm donor. That's offensive, Erin. I'm triggered. No, that's not a term that you call men. We are sperm you need something better. It's like the don't call me mentally challenged, call me neurodivergent.
No, yeah.
But I guess you can't call them sperm providing humans because that would also include trans women. Because they have sperm.
Yeah.
Because they have dicks and balls. Because, dare I say it, they're men. Canceled. You say that. It's like all the rest is true, but don't say that's what a man is. Somebody with a dick. We're living in silly times. It's all silly. It's all hilarious. And this is what I get banned for. Daring to make a joke about you're a woman if you have a baby growing inside of you. I'm the crazy person.
No, I will testify to that. It is. I am woman.
She knows. She checked her genitals, so it's there. Anyway, so she's having the baby at home. Mm-hmm. It's going to be crazy, guys. She's literally going to have a blow-up swimming pool in this room over here, and she's just going to be
the tub is actually pretty
out
big.
A baby.
The tub in there.
I know. The midwife or the teacher at the birthing class was like, just so you know, it's only enough room for you and your partner. You can't really if you're having other people or whatever.
Out. She was meaning it more like.
I know, but it's like, yeah, maybe for a normal sized person, I'm not going to be able to fit in there with you. You're already gigantic, and I'm twice your size.
I know.
I don't think that's going to work.
No. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And the birthing class was really good. And this week we're learning birthing positions. Ayo.
Ooh, a little birthing doggy style.
That is one of them, actually.
Or
you're gonna on all fours.
Or you're gonna be like a birthing fry cook. What position are you hiring me for? Fry cook. You're gonna work the desk. No, not those positions. All right.
No.
These jokes didn't make her laugh.
Nope.
She didn't like how she's like, what? I'm just like, what other positions are there?
Well, there's a lot of positions. You're going to find out.
I know. Doggy style is really what I went for. It was creepy, like watching these women like give birth at home because they show like the videos and it's like these people, it's like she's like teaching the signs of
all the different transitions
before labor when it starts, and then the women are fine. They're just like chilling.
When you're during labor, the early stages of labor, yeah.
And then it's like, now can you recognize when it transitions into like the actual labor phase, and the women are like going from like, oh, I'm just bouncing around, I'm laughing with my friends, I'm eating ice cream, everything's great. Give me some pizza. Oh yeah, I'm just moving around. Let's say there's a party going on in the background
and stuff.
It just looks like they're like kind of having that come on of like Molly or like mushrooms or some type of psychedelic trip.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting into a vibe over here.
Just gotta keep moving my
And then it
hips.
cuts to them like in the tub, like
No.
so focused, so like
That is when
tuning
you are
out
in
the world.
transition. It is your eyes are closed and you are just so in the moment.
I know. The one they
of-
showed us was pretty good, but she was like, all right, this was a good. I was like, that was actually kind of easy, Erin. If you do that, they made it look simple.
She breathed through the whole thing. She like breathed the baby
I was
out.
like, she looks like she's having like something
Like-
going on, and then the baby just like appears, and I was like,
It
wow,
was such
is
a
that,
sweet moment.
dude? I'm not gonna lie, that's gonna be so cool if that's how it goes, because. They
Don't
literally
get your
just,
hopes up,
they
though.
literally, like, it wasn't like the hospital at all. It looked
Oh,
so
no,
great. It was
yeah.
like, it just came out and then she's just holding it. And like the baby was like not crying. It wasn't some traumatic thing.
Yeah.
And he just starts smiling and laughing. And he's just like looking around like, what the fuck, guys?
I
How you
know.
doing? And I was like, dude, that's going to be crazy when it's like my kid.
I know.
That's going to be so cool.
No, I'm gonna be bawling my eyes out.
I know. It'll be a great moment if it
know.
goes that way. But then
It's
she was
such a
like,
beautiful thing.
just so you know, don't get your hopes up, guys, because next week we're going to show you a live birth where it is not this great.
She's not quiet.
And I can't wait to be like, hear the, ah! It's going to be like even worse than that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you can do it, but I just hope there's not
I do.
complications.
I'm probably going to make a lot of noise, like a lot of like groaning and like
Yeah.
this or that. The book that I'm reading is like let out your inner animal and your inner like primate and just whatever noises come out of you, like let it flow and just kind of breathe through everything and lots of movement and all of these.
No, I think you'll be good with that anyways.
I
because
think so too.
You're already... She's got
Like-
no shame already. She's just around me all the time, burping and farting, and doesn't give a fuck. She ain't trying to be ladylike, because that's what the teacher was saying too. Was like,
It's so
if you-
glamorous.
if you're a modest woman, I'm telling you now, your modesty is gonna go right out the door the
Yeah.
second it starts happening. And I'm like, Erin's not modest already. She doesn't give a fuck.
No.
So she'll be ready. You'll let it flow. You'll do what you got to do.
I just hope that I poop way beforehand so that way
All right,
while
let's
I'm
not take
giving
it to
labor,
that. All
I
right,
won't
it's going to be
poop,
great
but
sitting there and supporting
who
you. But if you
knows?
literally
I'm
shit
probably
right,
going
No.
to.
Guys,
It
all right, this is
happens.
the end of the podcast. We've gone
happens.
too long. Shit happens. It's going to be a crazy experience. I hope it's more baby and less
You're
poop.
gonna have to clean it up, you know.
Shut the fuck up, Erin. I'm out of here. That's what the midwife's for. Guys, this podcast went a little off the rails. I don't know what we talked about or what we did. We're talking about aliens, 9/11, shitting in a bathtub, shitting a baby out, and
Yeah.
trans men are men
Pronouns.
who have babies. That's totally real. All right, guys, please subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. Leave a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Leave a nice review or a shitty review. I don't care on iTunes. Honestly, do whatever the fuck you want to do. Just make sure to tune in next time
Yeah.
on the Quality Time Podcast.
We'll be back in 2 weeks.
All right, everybody.
Okay, see you.
Bye.